Hello, Kids Place friends. Welcome to another episode of Kids Place, where kids come to play, learn, achieve, create, and explore. I'm Ms. Traherne, and this is my co-host,
Mrs. Day. Let's start with our hello song.
Hello, friends. How are you? We're very happy to see you. Greet your neighbor, boogie on down. Give a bump and turn around. Hello, Kids Place friends and families. For today's play segment, we are going back to Piney Point Elementary School to Mrs. Ficalora's class, and we are going to see the greetings that they use as the children arrive in the morning. So this should be a lot of fun. Let's go visit.
Look at him, he's going to tell you. Which one? Gingerbread smile. All right, go to Drake. Ask Drake. Reindeer rub or gingerbread smile? Look at him. Gingerbread smile. Go ahead. Blaze, which do you want? Reindeer rub or gingerbread smile? All right. Mariah, which do you want? Blaze. Right there. All right, look at Lily. She's going to ask you what she wants.
It's time to disengage stress, as we call it in conscious discipline. And we've done our breathing strategies here on the show, but today we're going to go out to George Washington Carver Elementary School again, but this time we're going to visit kindergarten in Mrs. Connolly's class to see how they do breathing strategies. Let's see.
Which strategy did you choose today? The rabbit. Okay, I'm gonna hold this for you. Okay, remember, deep breath in. The fox is chasing you, so you gotta run. Oh, the fox is gone. One more time. In and last time. Whew, that fox is gone. Okay, show me what the Spider-Man breath looks like. Good, breathe in and breathe out. Nice job. Okay, and what does the unicorn breath look like? Can you show me? Breathe in and breathe out. Nice job. Well, thank you to Mrs. Connolly's class for sharing that awesome breathing strategy. Now we're ready to learn. Wasn't that so nice of them, Fanny?
Yeah,
Well, Fanny, are you okay?
I'm not feeling so well today.
Oh, no, Fanny, I'm so sorry to hear that. Is your head hurting you?
Yeah, I kind of feel yucky.
Oh, Fanny, we love having you here on this show, but if you're not feeling well, you really should probably go home and get some rest. That helps keep us all safe, and you need the rest so that you can get better.
Okay.
Friends
Well,
at home,
guys,
don't Don't you agree? It's all very important to make sure that if you're not feeling well, that you don't come to school. Fanny, why don't we get your stuff together and we can pack you up so that you can go home and get the rest you need.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
See you guys later.
Friends, I'm so sad that Fanny is not feeling well today, but it really is important that if we're not feeling well, to go home and rest. There's something that we do in Conscious Discipline to wish our friends well when they're gone. It's called the wish well. So in order to do a wish well, we take that person that we're thinking of and we place them in our hearts. And we're going to put our hands over our hearts and we sing a little song. It goes like this. We wish you well. We wish you well. All through the day today, we wish you well. And then you're going to send out those warm thoughts that you have for them. So why don't you try that with me today? We're going to do it for Fanny. So I want you to think of Fanny, and I want you to place her in your heart, put those hands over your heart, and sing this song with me. Are you ready? We wish you well. We wish you well. All through the day today, we wish you well. Now send those warm thoughts out to Fanny so that she can feel better. All right, friends, since Fanny is gone and we did the wish well, I think maybe we could write our sentence about that today. We could just say, we wish Fanny well. Does that sound good? All right. I noticed something about that sentence. A lot of the words in our sentence had the same beginning sound. Listen to it again. We wish Fanny well. Can anyone tell me? What's that sound that you hear? That's right, it's the W sound. Does anybody know what letter that is? That's right, it's a W. Okay, Fanny's not here to help me, so you're going to have to be my helpers. We start all the way on the left. That's right, and we're going to start with a capital W. We, and I'm going to use my space frog to help me make spaces between my words. We wish, there's that W again. Fanny. Can you think of that sound? Right, it's an F. Now there's something special. When you're writing about a person, you always capitalize their name because they're important people, and so are you. Fanny. I'm going to fix my A. There we go. And we wish Fanny well. That's right. Okay. I'm going to put punctuation at the end of my sentence, so I'm going to place my period right here. Let's read it together. We wish Fanny well. Let's count and see how many words that is. Ready? We wish Fanny well. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 words today. Thank you guys for doing this with me, and I hope that all of our well wishes go out to Fanny so that she can join us again. If any of you are feeling sick at home or just maybe not feeling your best, we wish you well too. We have a special trip today. I think you may have noticed that we're wearing some extra fun hats. It is the beginning of the holiday season. We got a chance to go up to Mechanicsville, Maryland to visit Quail Field Farms. And we got to meet some really special people, the Baileys, who taught us all about the farm. We have a special guest reader today, Mrs. Karen Bailey, and she is one of our board members. I can't wait to see what she reads to us today.
Hello everyone, my name is Karen Bailey and I'm the chairperson of the St. Mary's County Board of Education, and I'm here to help kick off our holiday season and read you a story about a Christmas tree. It's called Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree. Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree came by special delivery, full and fresh and glistening green, the biggest tree he had ever seen. He dashed downstairs to open the door. This was the moment he'd waited for. "A magnificent tree, splendid," he cried. "Please, sir, won't you carry it right inside? I think it might look best this year, right in the parlor corner here." But once the tree stood in its place, Mr. Willoughby made a terrible face. The tree touched the ceiling, then bent like a bow. "Oh, good heavens," he gasped. "Something must go." Baxter the butler was called on in haste to chop off the top, though it seemed quite a waste. "That's great," Mr. Willoughby cried with glee. "Now we can start to trim my tree." When the trimming was well underway, the top was placed on a silver tray. Baxter said, "I know just who'd be delighted with this Christmas tree." So it was presented to Miss Adelaide, Mr. Willoughby's upstairs maid. "Won't this tree be a pretty sight when I have trimmed it later tonight? But the top, oh dear, I'm so afraid, will have to be cut," sighed Miss Adelaide. And so with scissors, sharp and long, she snipped off the top while she hummed a song. The top was set out the very next day in the back of the house to be thrown away. That little treetop caught the eye of Tim the gardener passing by. He certainly was not about to let that little tree get thrown out. He hurried home straight away to see what Mrs. Tim would say. Fa la la, surprise, surprise. His wife could not believe her eyes. "But our house," she said, "is so snug and small, I do not believe we need it all." And before Tim had a chance to shout, she cut off the top and threw it out. Barnaby Bear was padding by. It almost hit him in the eye. Now who would throw a tree away so very close to Christmas Day? "I'll take it home, that's what I'll do. Look, Mama Bear, I've a present for you." "Isn't it a pretty tree?" yawned Barnaby quite drowsily. But Little Bear, standing off far, cried out, "That tree won't hold a star." Barnaby said, "Let's cut a hunk off the bottom here at the trunk." And Mama Bear just shook her head and sliced the treetop off instead. "Jolly by golly," Barnaby said with a kick. "Mama, that surely is just the right trick. Let's trim it with bells and honey rings, some berries and tinsel and popcorn on strings." Mama said, "Trim it just as you like. I've got to tidy up for the night. This top we won't need anymore. I'll put it just outside the door." Later on that frosty night, Frisky Fox came into sight. He spied the treetop, rubbed his chin, opened his sack, and stuffed the top in. He scampered home and jumped his gate. This Christmas present couldn't wait. "It's even better than mincemeat pie," said Mrs. Fox with a happy sigh. Then the foxes saw that their Christmas prize was just a wee bit oversized. "There, my dears, don't you worry. I'll fix this top now in a hurry." Benjamin Rabbit found it then, just outside the fox's den. "It seems," he thought, "most certainly Santa left that for my family." "Look," he cried, "see the tree I found?" With that he called his family round. Then there was a merrymaking, rollicking, frolicking, carrot shaking, celebration around the tree. All were as happy as rabbits can be. Benjamin Rabbit, with his own hand, sliced a carrot and made a stand. "Now let's see how this will look in our little chimney nook." But right away the children cried, "Look, it's leaning off to one side." "It's too tall, that's all," said Mrs. Rabbit, and as though it were a summer carrot, she gave it a chop and threw it away the top. Then Mistletoe Mouse just happened to see that tiny tip of a Christmas tree. He pulled it through the snow and ice, up some stairs. He fell down twice. At last he reached his cozy house. "It's just the right size," said Mrs. Mouse. Then at the top, if you please, they put a star made out of cheese. Oh, wasn't it grand to have a tree exactly like Mr. Willoughby?
What fun we have had at the Christmas tree farm today.
It was so much fun.
So, in honor of the season, we are going to do a project making Christmas trees.
Okay.
And instead of our learning bucket, our supplies are in our Christmas tree holder. For today's project, we will need glue. We're going to use cupcake liners, and I've gone through and pulled out all of the green ones for a tree.
Okay.
And we're going to decorate with some pom-poms, some stars. You can choose adhesive ones or paper ones, whatever you have easy access to.
If you don't have those at home, you can always cut some out.
Of course. And some popsicle sticks, and I have some colored ones today. Ready to
Okay.
get started?
I'm ready.
Okay, so in order to do this, we're going to take 3 cupcake liners
Okay.
and we're going to fold them in order to make the branches of our tree. So we're going to use our fingers to pinch and crease, and that could be our bottom branch of the tree.
They make a really fun noise.
Yeah, they do. And let's grab, use
Thank
that
you.
for your tree trunk.
Okay.
And whenever we're trying to make things strong, we use our liquid glue. And if you haven't watched before, we have on our glue a face with eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And that helps us to remember that when we finish working, in order to close it up, the eyes need to match the smile, and it keeps our glue fresh. And it lasts a little bit longer. So we're going to put some dots of glue on our
Yeah, you closed enough.
popsicle stick. And then we're going to leave a little bit sticking out at the bottom for the tree trunk. And then we're going to make the next layer of branches. Now, usually, and as we heard Mr. Bailey say, we trim the tree so that the top of the tree is more narrow than the bottom of the tree. So in order to make these liners a little bit more narrow as you go up the tree, you just fold it under.
Oh, okay.
So if it's not the right size, you just refold it.
Fold it. Okay, that's cool.
And then we'll make the next layer of our tree. And you might want to sneak a little dot of glue under there to make it
Yeah.
attach to the bottom branch. And when I used to teach in the classroom, in order to give your glue time to adhere or to stick, I would always have them hold that paper or whatever it is you're attaching and whisper count, maybe to 10. And then usually that just gives it a little start.
Yes.
All right, for the top one, we're going to fold it in half, pinch and crease, and then I really think you could take it completely into a quarter. So we had a half, and now we fold it in half again, and we have a quarter. Keep it closed. This is so cute. And again, we're going to whisper count to 10. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if it pops up, because this one was folded twice,
Yeah.
I just sneak in a little bit of glue.
That'll work.
So hold it together. Wherever it's not making you happy, add a dot of glue. Remember, just a dot, not a lot.
Thanks.
I really did do that one silently. All right, so now we need to trim the tree. And today we're using pom-poms. I happen to grab red, but you can use any color you want. If you don't have pom-poms, you can take pieces of paper and crinkle it, rip it. You could draw with markers. There are a million different ways to decorate these trees. We're picking the most simple way.
Beads, sequins,
Yes.
all kinds of things you could use.
And that's funny. I was looking for some sequins and I didn't find them.
Oh.
Maybe you'll have better luck at your house. I'm sorry. I'm hogging the glue.
Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna put a couple dots down. There. But that's a little
I know there are different sizes. Okay. And the last step is to put a topper up at the top of the tree. I have silver, gold.
I like the sparkly one.
Okay, these happen to be adhesive, but as Mrs. Day said earlier, if you don't have these, you can cut your own. And here we have our cupcake liner Christmas tree. Hello, Kids Place family and friends. We are here on a field trip at a Christmas tree farm in Newmarket, Maryland, and this is Mr. Bailey, who is going to give us all kinds of information about the history of the farm. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell us about this big tree that we're standing in front of?
Well, first off, let me welcome you all to Quailfield. We bought the farm as a family back in the early 70s, and we've been living here ever since. Initially, the family that owned the farm was Willie and Flora Norred, and before that, it was an Amish farm. I guess a couple of weeks after we bought the farm, my father-in-law drove in and opened the trunk of his car and took out 500 Christmas tree seedlings. And he said, now, this is for the boys, my sons Jack and David, for them to plant, grow, and sell. And we have been doing that ever since then. This field here has been planted in Christmas trees and harvested basically 3 times. The tree behind me is one tree that we left from the original planting, Norway spruce.
I think we're going to take a little tour of the farm, and we're going to learn a little bit about some of the other trees that they have here for the Christmas season.
This is a white pine. It's been probably in the field about 10 to 12 years. Initially, when we plant the trees, they're planted on a 6x6 pattern. We lay the row out, and then every 6 feet in the row, we plant a tree, move over 6 feet to the next row, do the same thing, but plant the trees so that when we mow, we can mow down through the trees and then sideways to control the grass and control the weeds. The trees grow approximately, white pine will grow probably 18 inches or so a year. But to be a Christmas tree, they have to be trimmed so that the limbs come out about every foot.
How do you get a shape of a Christmas tree?
Some of the species require very little trimming and shaping. White pines and some of the other pines require a good deal of shaping. If you didn't shape them, they'd grow real bushy, and you might see a couple of trees around here that are real bushy, and we leave a few trees bushy because some people want that type of a tree. Some people want a perfectly trimmed tree.
How tall did the tree get?
Well, the tree that we were standing back there was a tree that was planted some 30, 40 years ago. It was just, they'll get they get plenty big. White pines in their normal area of growth will go to 100 feet or more in height, untrimmed.
Which trees do people buy the most?
Depend upon where the people are from. In St. Mary's, I mean, years ago, a lot of Christmas trees were what we call Virginia pine, which really weren't much of a Christmas tree, and but they were a native tree to this area. But people are coming into St. Mary's County from the north, the south, the east, and the west, and a lot of times they look for a type of a tree that's traditional to their area. On the farm right now, there's probably 5 different varieties of pines and spruces. This was a white pine that a buck deer fell in love with and decided he wanted to show how much of a man he was by raking the limbs on the tree with his horns. And they do that to but clean the felt off of their horns. But you can see where he's cut through the bark, broken the limbs. Here's another one. These are all limbs that were sticking out of the tree in different areas and have been broken off by a deer. We lose maybe 5-6 trees a year per acre to the deer.
What other animals are found on this farm?
There's a couple of voles or moles or whatnot that will sometimes eat around the roots, but they usually don't cause that much damage. It's as far as damage itself is concerned, it's primarily the deer.
The other interesting things when we sell a Christmas tree, there are praying mantises cases.
Exactly.
If you ever know anyone that puts their tree in their room,
That's
and then the
happened to me
next
before.
morning they wake up and there are praying mantis
praying
babies
mantises
everywhere. So my father-in-law is excellent at finding them when we cut the trees to sell them to people and pick them all off. He has the eye. So,
Yes, that's happened to me before. The whole living room.
So if you do buy a live Christmas tree, you have to go over there very carefully to make sure you do not have a praying mantis sack on your tree, or you will be vacuuming for weeks.
Yes.
When it gets into your living room and your tree heats up, right, and it gets the warmth, then they hatch, and like millions of them come out. Millions, as you can attest to.
Mr. Bailey, you want me to pull this off of here? Or do we?
You want her to pull it off?
That's up to you. You can pull it off or put it in your pocket and take it home.
Oh, no.
My kid's gonna kick out of this.
Wait a minute. All you got to do is just...
Oh, sorry. You probably
no,
didn't
no,
want me
no,
to.
no. I think she wants to take the whole thing
Yeah,
to
I
show
was
them.
gonna take it to share. Yeah.
How long does a tree last indoors?
So in our family, we usually put our tree up the first weekend in December. And it does depend a little bit on the type of tree. As Mr. Bailey told you, when you come in, the first trees in the patch on the left-hand side, they're called Norway spruce. And they have really, really tiny, like short needles. They do not last very long. So they probably last for what, 2 weeks? Cut, right? If even. Right. We've had people bring back trees that had dropped all their needles because they cut them too early. But most of the fir trees like this, they can last up to a month if you keep them watered. Important thing is that once you cut your tree, off at the base. If you don't put it up right away, then you have to cut it again and give it like a fresh cut. So then because the sap in the tree will seal over the bottom of the tree trunk, and then it won't drink any more water.
Right.
So you have to keep it, keep watering it every single day.
If you would like to check us out more, you can find us at the local cable channel number 96 or on SMCPS YouTube. And you can also email us at kidsplace@smcps.org.
It's that time in the show where we have to say goodbye.
It is time to say goodbye to all our friends. It is time to say goodbye to all our friends. It is time to say goodbye. Give a smile and wink your eye. It is time to say goodbye to all our friends.
Bye, friends.
See you next time.